Hey, welcome in. Today we are trying to figure out what makes a perfect production, and we are getting our answer from Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are. This came out as a hit on his 1977 album, The Stranger, and it is just one of the smoothest songs out there. So I've done my best to pull these tracks apart so we can really dive into these individual instruments and figure out what makes this song such a perfect production. I've got my analyzer up as well, but let's dive in and let's see what we can learn from Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are. I mean, right off the bat, besides the iconic keyboard opening,
don't go changing.
Listen to the noise that's going on one more time. Let me solo just the keyboards here. Listen to the little bit of air, the noise we have going on.
Don't go.
And it's interesting because look how dark the keyboard is. There's like barely anything above 2K.
Don't go changing to try and please me.
So that noise, that air does so much to create atmosphere for this song.
Don't imagine.
Especially now. I mean, noise was probably more common back then in the 70s. I mean, you're listening on vinyl, you're going to get some noise. But now when you put on a pair of headphones and you're listening on your computer, some noise goes a long way to set some atmosphere. So let's listen one more time. I love that you can see the little belly sound jump up at like 3K here.
Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before.
Now, as far as I know, his vocals and keyboards are tracked at the same time.
You're too familiar,
but I've got his vocal here.
and I don't see you anymore.
Let's back up a little bit.
Don't go changing to try and please me.
I like that you can hear the plosive on the B because he's probably kind of moving a little bit and right up on that microphone as he's playing. So it's not like the cleanest recording, the cleanest capture of his vocal, but it definitely makes it more intimate feeling. Listen to the P.
Don't go changing to try and please me.
You can see that the bottom end jump up there.
You never let me down before.
You can feel him just right up on the microphone.
Don't imagine you're too familiar.
All this warmth in his vocals.
And I don't see
beautiful.
You anymore. I would not leave you.
That the reverb on his vocal is dialed in as well, but the sibilance range is really interesting. Listen to things like changing, stuff like that, C's, S's, T's. You can see that's when the top end really comes in on his vocal. Other than that, it's pretty much dialed in with the keyboards here.
Don't go changing.
You can see the top end jump up there.
To try and please me. You never let me down before. Don't imagine you're too familiar.
Again, on 2, you can hear the sibilance jump up, but that's one of the things that makes this song so great and it makes it feel so intimate is that the vocals and the keyboards are really packaged as one instrument. They sit together, they're mixed to fill the same frequency range. It's not like they're trying to fill the bottom end with the keyboard and then sit his vocal above the keyboards in the top end. They're mixed together.
Don't go changing.
Just filling the mid-range here, pretty much.
To try and please me.
There's a little bit of air on his vocal, but most of that top end is just that noise.
Don't imagine you're too familiar.
I like that they're still leaving a lot of bottom end on his vocal.
I don't see you anymore. I would not leave you. times of trouble.
Now, it's interesting there, when the rest of the band drops in, you can actually visually see his vocal gets louder when the band drops in. That feels like an automation move afterwards, but it feels dynamic on that first line. Like he starts pushing more, but when the band drops in, it definitely feels like they just, boop, let's ride his vocal up a little bit. It's a nice way to shift the energy, and they do it before the band drops in. You can see it from this line into that line, and then pretty much the rest of the song we stay up at that level. But that intro vocal is just tucked back just a little bit to keep it a little bit softer sounding. So take a listen to this last line here, going into where the band drops in.
You're too familiar,
And then it jumps up.
and I don't see you anymore. I would not leave you in times of trouble.
Let's listen to just his vocal there.
You're too familiar, and I don't see you anymore.
You can see how much more power is on his lines.
I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come this far.
Look how much weight is on his vocal down there. You feel the deeper part of his register sitting down at like 150 here, especially on that line.
We never could have come this far.
It makes his vocal feel so rich. And again, it's just another aspect of keeping him up front and keeping him intimate sounding. It's something where you can close your eyes and kind of picture him almost with you, just playing the piano part, because you feel the deepness in his voice. So let's keep listening from there.
I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come this far.
The drums are probably the next thing that catch my ear. The really deep kick drum, but it has this nice punch at like 80 hertz. Look how much sub is coming through on the kick drum, though. We have this beautiful bloom and punch here at like 80 hertz, but there's a ton of 30, which just makes it feel massive. It's almost like a second fundamental at 30 hertz here. And if you notice, the top end doesn't move very much when he hits the kick drum. There's not a lot of like click or top end attack coming through on that kick drum. They keep it very soft. It's almost like a heartbeat that you feel in the track. You can see the hi-hat is what's moving the top end and the snare drum. You can see how high set the toms are. They're almost up at 200, and they have this open tone to them, so it gives them a different sound than the kick drum. So they don't kind of blend into the bottom end with the kick drum. Let's throw that back into the track.
Would not leave you.
Yeah, look at all that bottom end.
Trouble. We never could have come this far. I took the good times. I'll take the bad times.
There's some good return on the drums too. Some reverb. It gives them some length. Really, really nice on some of those tom hits. And it feels like it's panned off to the side a little bit, which gives you some extra ambience, because the toms are almost centered, it feels like.
I took the good times. I'll take the bad times.
That's interesting. That's definitely not something you hear too often, where you're like, oh, we'll take the reverb from the drums and we'll throw it in the right speaker. It's not something I've heard before, but you can hear it on the tom hits. It's delayed as well. If you notice that, it's not happening directly on the tom hits. You hear the tom hit, and then you hear this reverb throw off to the right. It's something that gives the track that movement. Of course, we have the percussion behind the drum kit as well, but it's not a very busy drum part. So taking the reverb and delaying it from the initial hit of the tom and then throwing it off to the right speaker just enhances the movement and the overall groove of the kit. It's almost like another tom hit afterwards. That's such a cool way to just add more movement to the track. Let's hear it inside the song. That's so cool.
Good times. I'll take the bad times. I take you just the way you are.
We have the saxophone coming in there, but it kind of feels like there might be a delay on the reverb for the vocals as well.
We never could have come this far. I took the good times. I'll take the bad times.
Yeah, the reverb is definitely pushed out a little bit from the vocal. That's something that gives it more space. Let's hear it in the beginning and see if it's more noticeable there. The vocal is definitely quieter in the beginning.
Don't go changing.
Yeah, you can hear it really clearly. There's a delay between when the vocal happens and then when the reverb happens. That's a cool way to keep the vocal very clean sounding. Again, it's trying to build this intimate vibe. And if you have this reverb just smacked on top of the vocal, it's going to make it sound muddy, especially when they're trying to enhance the deepness in his voice and keep it rich sounding. If you stack that reverb right on top of the vocal and it happens at exactly the same time, you just get this muddiness and this cloudiness in the vocal. By delaying the reverb just a little bit, ever so slightly from when the vocal happens, you create space, and it also helps just enhance the length on the reverb. So listen to the first line and just listen to how the reverb comes after the vocal. It's not happening at the same time as the vocal.
Don't go changing to try and please me.
That's such a cool way to add space. So let's jump back here and kind of see where we're at going into probably the second verse here.
I'll take the bad times. I take you just the way you are. Don't go trying.
Almost feels like the same reverb on the saxophone. I don't know how good I did getting the saxophone out here, but let's take a... You can hear, especially on that note there before he does the fall, you can almost hear that same delay from the reverb of the vocal where he hits the note and then the reverb sounds after it. It's a nice way to kind of connect the vocal and the saxophone part. I always say if you have a lead element, you're going to kind of mix it to share space with the vocal. When you transition from the vocal to that lead element, whether it's a lead guitar, saxophone part, lead synthesizer part, you want them to fill the same spot in the track. So when his vocal disappears, this saxophone comes in and it's using almost the same reverb, and it could very well be the same reverb there.
Don't go try.
Really nice way to keep the saxophone very clean sounding as well. Again, you don't want that reverb kind of muddying up the mid-range. It's just going to take away from everything else that's going on.
Don't go trying some new fashion. Don't change the color of your hair.
Now the bass feels like it's tucked back here. I mean, the difference between how much low-end energy is on the drums and how much is on the bass is pretty surprising. Look at the drums here. We're almost up at like plus 12 for the kick drum at 80, and we're at like plus 6 for the kick at 30 hertz. And then we look at the bass. Barely at 0 here at 80 hertz. A lot of the energy on the bass is parked around this 150, 200 hertz area. Fundamental's almost at 100 here. How does that sit with the drums? I like where the kick drum hits with the bass too. It's not quite where you want it to hit. Where that bass is walking, you kind of want the kick drum to hit with it, like boom, 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 but it's not. That's so cool. It gives it a more interesting rhythm, especially sitting behind. Let's put the keyboard parts in there and kind of see how this package sits together. Lots of vocal bleed there. Yeah, it's interesting. The bass is definitely filling a higher register. It's definitely sitting above the kick drum here. Right there at like 150, 200 hertz. So the bottom end is very sculpted. It's another thing that makes this track fit together so well. It's like putting together a puzzle. Every piece has its spot that it sits in, and they all fit together to create the bigger picture. We've got the kick drum filling this below 100 hertz area, and the bass guitar is really filling this 100 to 200 hertz area. So they kind of slot together to fill up this under 200 hertz area, because if we listen to just the keyboard sound here, where is that sitting? It's sitting from like 200 up to 500, almost up to 1K here. Definitely rolling off around there. And then you have the belly tones that kind of jump up every now and then around 3K. So that makes up the bottom end and the low mid of the track. They fit together like puzzle pieces. Everything is sculpted to fill its specific frequency range. Nothing is fighting for space in this track. And again, our vocal is pretty much sculpted to sit with the keyboards.
You always have mine. Unspoken passion, although I might not seem to care.
I like that his vocal extends the range of the keyboard kind of, because our keyboard is mainly sitting from this 200 to 500 hertz area. And then when you add the vocal in, it kind of extends it up.
Never want to work that hard. I just want someone that I can talk to. I want you just the way you are.
And then the sibilance range comes up to fill the top. The acoustic guitar is probably a little wonky sounding, but let's see if that's kind of filling out the top end more. It definitely feels in the track.
Never want to work that hard.
It's widespread, it's double tracked. It definitely feels like a more percussive sound where they're emphasizing the pick hitting the strings to kind of fill that higher register. Let's see what we get here just listening to the acoustic. Yeah, it's filling this 5K to 10K range. You're getting that pick attack and that kind of brightness from the acoustic up here. It's got some bottom to it as well for those middle sections, kind of where things drop out a little bit. I think the bass walks up there, right?
Just the way you are.
So notice when the bass goes up to do those higher walks, our acoustic actually drops to fill that 100 hertz area. That's such a great foresight to have, like, oh, the bass is going to go up and sit a little bit higher on the neck, so let's drop the acoustic to fill that frequency range that the bass was sitting in, so things don't feel thin. And especially the drums drop out there, but it definitely doesn't feel like we lose weight going into this second little saxophone break here.
That I can talk to, I want you just the way you are. To know that you will all.
Yeah, the acoustics carry a lot of weight there. I like that. It does look like they're kind of scooped though. They sit with the bass here around this 100 to 200 hertz area, but there's a big scoop kind of in the higher mid-range. I wonder if that's for the vocals.
I need to know that
Oh,
you
for
will
sure.
always be the same old someone that I knew. Oh.
That's where the high mid is sitting on his vocals. You can see it. It's rounding out around 0, so it's not very loud, and it definitely adds to the warmth in his vocals. But if we go back and look at the acoustic here, big scoop here from about 500 hertz all the way up to about 5K. And that's where the bulk of our vocal is sitting. So again, just taking our acoustic, okay, we want it panned wide, we want it to support the bass guitar, and we want to add some of the percussive string sound in the top end. But we don't want it to fight with the vocal. So if we scoop out this 500 to about 5K area, the vocal just slots right in there. Very, very nice. And I like how smooth the vocal sounds there.
Need to know that you will always be.
You can see the bulk of his vocal is in the mid-range. There's some high mid energy, but it's not very prominent. That's the harshness on a vocal.
I need to know that you will always be. I need to know that you will always be.
So as much as we want vocals to cut
Same
through,
old someone.
and they are very high mid focused these days, if we were to push some high mid on this vocal, you'll hear very quickly we start to lose all that warmth and it starts to get harsh. So take a listen. I'm going to push some high mid on the vocal. Take a listen to what it sounds like.
I need to know that you will always be the same old someone that I knew. Oh.
That's a very modern sounding vocal now, like a very polished pop sounding vocal where it's like really upfront, really in your face. It's not that intimate sound anymore. It doesn't feel warm, and it kind of has this edginess to it because there's not that scoop there. So let me get rid of that. Take a look, and I'll actually take it out. So here's where we're at with that big boost there, and then I'll take it out. Listen to how all the warmth just comes back into the vocal.
I need to know that you will always be.
It's full, it's rich sounding.
The same old someone that I knew. Oh, what will it take till you believe in me? The way that I believe in you.
Oh, that acoustic guitar hit is beautiful. That's probably the only spot, and I wonder if they did this intentionally. We were talking about how scooped the acoustic is. You can see this scoop here. But then watch it. Oh, it kind of fills that high mid energy, and I wonder if that sits with the vocal.
The way that I believe in you.
It's just a nice highlight as his vocal kind of trails off there on the word you. Oh, so sweet.
I said I love you. That's forever. This I promise from the heart. I couldn't.
I don't hear the delay as prominently on the drums. Is it still there? It is, yeah.
I promise from the heart. I couldn't love you.
Oh yeah, you can still hear it there. It definitely kind of sits in the space with the backgrounds as they come in there. Let's see if those come through on the lead vocal.
I said I love you, that's forever. This I promise from the heart. I couldn't love you any better.
Those are really smooth. They almost feel like a pad with how ethereal they sit in the track.
I promise from the heart.
Let's go keyboards and vocals together and kind of see how those feel.
That's forever. This I promise from the heart. I couldn't love you.
Those are so smooth, and they give such an ethereal vibe to the track. They're subtle in the song too.
That's forever. This I promise from the heart.
They come in louder. It almost feels like they're getting ridden volume-wise, like they're riding the fader on these to kind of ride them in and out of the track. Let's listen from the top of this verse section. It feels like they come in high energy to reintroduce the verse, and then they kind of dial them back, and they sit as like this bed underneath the track.
I said I love you, that's forever.
And then they dial back.
This I promise from the heart. I couldn't love you any better.
That's so cool. They're coming in. They're kind of weaving in between his vocal lines in the verse there. That's super, super cool. I think we're making our way into the saxophone solo here. So let's see what we get out of this.
I love you just the way you are.
You can see the saxophone definitely has a lot more high mid energy from the vocal. That's what makes it different than the vocal. So when they sit together, they aren't just fighting for dominance in one frequency range. Let's put his vocal in here as well.
I love you just
So his vocal's dominating this mid-range area.
the way you are.
And then the saxophone comes in to kind of fill from this like almost 6, 7, 800 area all the way up to like 4K. And it's got some air on it. You want that air off of an instrument like this. Rolls off pretty quickly at 10K. I like that fall off at the end there. That's kind of cool. That's nice. Now, I heard this was kind of spliced together. It definitely doesn't feel like that in the track or even by itself. I don't hear any spots where like, oh, that's definitely a different take. The only spot is maybe the end. That might feel like it's cut there a little bit to make sure it's a clean transition back into the verse, but everything else feels super smooth. Yeah. Maybe right there, maybe that line. Right there where he jumps back up, that could be a splice. And then definitely there at the end, it feels like it gets cut to make sure, like, boom, we're back into the verse. Our focus is trading back to the vocal. The lead vocal and the saxophone very rarely overlap. You can see the space on the vocal where there's no vocal is left for that saxophone line there. The only time they overlap is on big notes where he's holding the note going into the saxophone solo and then holding the note coming out of the saxophone solo. Everything else is left open for those two parts to trade. We trade from the lead vocal to the saxophone, and then the saxophone passes it back to the lead vocal going into the next section here.
I don't want clever conversation. I never want to work that hard.
Ooh, I like the throw there.
I never want to work that hard.
You can hear him just on the end of that kind of slide up a little bit. His vocal feels more dynamic in this last verse. I mean, if we look at his vocal leading up to the saxophone solo, it's not super dynamic. They definitely leave room for his vocal to move inside the track. It's not squashed like a modern pop vocal would be today, where it's just caked down into one solid waveform. It's parked at one volume. It definitely has room to move, but it's not undercompressed, and it doesn't disappear into the track. This last verse here, it kind of feels like they're bringing him down. You can kind of see the volume come back down to almost the level of the intro there. That's interesting. Let's see his vocal here just in this section.
Conversation. I never want to work that hard. I just want someone.
Yeah, they really pull him back there.
That hard. I just want someone that I can talk to. I want you just the way you are.
Oh, that's so good. And we're going to that higher chord for this section as well. So they bring his vocal down. It's such a perfect production move here. You're trying to make this section hit harder, right? Where he goes up to this big note. We hit this bigger chord. It's kind of moving the song up another level. We want to make that hit harder. What can we do there? We can bring his vocal down beforehand. Bring the track down beforehand. Make it a little bit softer. Make it quieter. And then when we want to hit that big note, let everything go back up. Let his vocal jump back up in volume. It's such a nice way.
I just want someone.
How quiet his vocal is here.
That I can talk to.
Comes back up a little bit and then let it loose.
I want you just the way you are.
Again, the only time the saxophone is overlapping his vocal is on a big note, and it's just something for a little bit of support. Whenever you have an artist hitting a big note like that, if you have a lead line behind, giving them some support, it makes that line hit a little bit harder because you can kind of bake them into the track, especially with something like this where you want them to feel more intimate. Also, I just wanted to note that downbeat on that big note, there's no kick drum there, but it still feels so powerful.
The way you are.
The saxophone feels like it's being automated there. It almost, I mean, visually, if we look, the saxophone comes in pretty much at full volume here, and then it feels like it ducks down, and we ride up the background vocals until here. Again, we get more saxophone. Kind of looks like the background vocals come down, and then back up. Are they automating them or riding those faders as they do the print? We'll bring the saxophone up here, and then we'll go the other way. We'll bring the background vocals up. That's interesting. Let's listen to just those two. Oh, that's so cool. That's such a smooth move. Oh, we got to listen to that again. So the saxophone comes in, and then as the saxophone trails down that line, they ride the saxophone back in volume, and they bring the background vocals up in volume. Oh. And then here they come again. Wow, that's such a cool way to just ride the vibe of the outro, like actually control what is giving the atmosphere in the track, whether it's the saxophone. They're like, oh, listen to this saxophone line, and oh, maybe listen to these background vocal lines. I want to kind of see if anything else is being pushed out there. Almost looks like there's some nice lines on the keyboard here. You can kind of see the saxophone is working in relationship with the keyboard as well. We've got a couple keyboard fills here, then a saxophone fill, little keyboard run, saxophone fill, keyboard fill, little saxophone fill, and keyboard fill there. That's really nice. So let's put the keyboards, the saxophone, and the background vocals in here and kind of listen to this outro section. This here might be my favorite move in the track. Right there, they let the keyboard shine through. There's a little break in the saxophone, so let's listen to that. The bass is starting to move a little bit too. He's not staying in the same register. We've got this, you can see it very clearly. It almost like they rode that up as well. Because if we look at the bass is pretty dialed in throughout the track. It's pretty even, but there's this one spot here where it kind of jumps out a little bit, and he's jumping up to a higher note. Oh, that's so cool. It definitely feels like there's a bass fill there. Let's grab that and boop, let's push that out for a second. It slots really nicely with the tom hit here as well. Really, really cool. Nice way to just grab the bass. And I mean, the overall bass tone is pretty nice. It's not a deep one. We talked about how it's filling more of the low mids here. It almost feels like a keyboard bass, like a current keyboard bass. It's such a dialed in sound. I love it. Let's hear the final fade out of the song. I like that. I like that bass fill. They keep the saxophone higher at the end as well. If we kind of look at the saxophone here, that might be the last thing you hear on the track. We've still got some saxophone going on there everything else is pretty much gone by that point, or down low enough that you're not going to see it, and yet the saxophone's still there. That's a cool way on the fade out. You can kind of think about what's the last thing you want the listener to hear in your song. What's the element you want to stay with them as the song goes down to zero. It's definitely a very intentional production move. Instead of just grabbing the master fader and boop, we'll pull everything down together, you can kind of ride one thing up a little bit. As you pull that master fader down, as you fade the track out overall, maybe grab one element that you're like, okay, I want this to stay with the listener. And in this case, it feels like it's the saxophone. Saxophone's still going in. There's still some soloing going on, some riffing going on. So as the track comes down in volume, that saxophone seems to sneak up just a little bit, so those last few fills kind of come through before the track fades all the way out. Very, very intentional production move there. That's definitely something, if you're creating music, to try and work into the ends of your songs. If you're fading out, keep in mind what's the last thing you want the listener to hear, and ride that element up as the fade out happens. Such a good song. It definitely for sure is a perfect production from the vocals. We had that delayed reverb on the vocals. It comes over into the saxophone. Nothing is stepping on anything. EQ-wise, effects-wise, even playing-wise. We were looking at that outro section. The saxophone and the background vocals, of all things, trade parts in the outro of the song. How often do you hear background vocals trading with a lead guitar or a lead saxophone or synthesizer or something like that? That is really, really intentional. Everything about the song is the pocket on the drums and the bass, the acoustic guitar sitting up in the top end, giving you that sparkle, while the vocals and keys kind of fill the mid-range and the lower mid-range. Really, really nice, and it was very interesting to dive into some of these multi-tracks. If this was interesting for you, definitely let me know in the comments below, and if there's songs you want to see me pull apart like this, let me know what songs you think are perfect productions. I think I'm going to try and do more of these. This was definitely an interesting thing for me. So if you have songs you're like, man, this is a perfect production, drop it in the comments, and maybe we'll pull it apart like this and do a listen through and try and find some interesting little hidden treasures in the song. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to do it here for this. Billy Joel's Just the Way You Are, a perfect production.